With example 3, we're told that John earns $35 per yard for mowing and $16.50 per day for house sitting. And we're asked to write an equation to find the amount of money M John earned for mowing a yard once and house sitting the same house for any number of days D. And we're also asked to make a table to find John's earnings for 6, 7, 8, or 9 days. And then we're asked to graph the ordered pairs. So I went ahead and wrote out, which is very prudent to do. This is what you should do anytime you're given a word problem. Go ahead and first write out everything that you're given. So we're given that it's $35 per yard. We're given that it's $16.50 per day house sitting. And we're asked to find an equation for money M for mowing the yard once and then house sitting for any number of days D. So let's go ahead and write our equation first. We're looking at, because it's $35 for mowing a yard and that we're only mowing once, that's going to be our initial amount because he's only mowing it once. So we have plus 35 out here. We know that's going to be part of our equation. We're going to be adding $35 because he's mowing a yard once. And then we're given the rate of change is $16.50 per day for house sitting. And we're looking for the total amount M. So we know that's going to be our equals. Our rate of change is the $16.50 per day. And that's going to be multiplied by the number of days. So we know it's 16.5 times the number of days, D. So this is the amount of money he's going to make. The money he makes is going to be $16.50 times the number of days he house sits plus $35 for mowing the yard once. And now we're going to fill in our table down here. All we have to do is substitute each one of these values in to see what is he going to make in that number of days if he's house sitting. So let's go ahead and write out these substitutions. We'll start with 6M equals 16.5 times 6 days plus the $35 for mowing. So what's 16.5 times 6? We could go ahead and multiply that out, or we could simply use our calculators. So 1650 or 16.5 times 6 is going to be 99. So we're looking at this equals 99 plus 35, and that equals $134. So we'll go ahead and write that in down here. $134 is how much he's going to make in 6 days of house sitting. Now we have a couple options here. We could go ahead and substitute each time. And that's a perfectly acceptable way of filling in this table. Or we could just recognize, well, wait a minute, each one of these is just a subsequent day. Well, how much is he adding per day? $16.50. So for 7, we could substitute 7, or we could just add $16.50. So for 7 days, he's going to have $150.50. So 150.5. At 8, we're just going to be adding another $16.50 because he's only mowing the yard once. So we're looking at 167 for 8 days. And for 9 days, once again, add $16.50. And that's $183.50. So here's our equation where M is money and D is the number of days. Here's our table. And then we are asked to graph those ordered pairs so that we can see a visualization of what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll draw a set of axes. Since we're not solving, a sketch should be perfectly fine as long as it's drawn somewhat to scale. We don't need anything negative, however, because, well, you can't have negative days, and we're not figuring in costs of, gasoline or anything like that. So I'll go ahead and just mark this accordingly. And then we'll go ahead and label our axes, and we will provide a scale where days we're going from 6 to 9 at least. So it's perfectly fine. We'll go ahead and make this 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And then with money, we're going from, we need to recognize first off that we need to recognize that we're looking at this section right here, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need it to go up to that amount on our graph. As far as money is concerned, we're going from 134 to 183.50. So we will go ahead and consider, let's say, each one of these on the vertical axis. This will be $25. So 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200. And we're not going over 200, so we don't need to label it past there. But at 6 days, we're at $134. So we go to 6 right here. We go up to, if this is 125, this is 150. Halfway in between there is going to be 137.50. So 134 is going to be somewhere right in here. So we'll go to 6. So there's 6 134. 7 is 150.5. So we go over 1. And we're looking at just above 150, so over 1 and just above 150, so we're right about, let's say, here. At 8, we're at 167, so that's going to be right about in here. And then 9, we're at 183.50, which is going to be right about here. And we're not asked to connect the dots or draw the actual line. We're simply asked to make the table and graph the points so we can see visually that this is a linear equation. M equals 16.5D plus 35. We could go ahead if we wanted to, draw the actual line of what he's making. And this point over here would be the 0.35 if it's 0 days. If he mows one lawn, he's making 35. And then the increase is going to be the 1650 per day. That's going to be the slope of this line. But the main point was to graph these points, so you could see the visualization of how much it's increasing per day.